Good afternoon-night. That's kind of a mix-up of morning, afternoon, and night. So whatever time it is, hello, and welcome to Pre-Calc. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 4.3. 4.3 is dealing with right triangle trigonometry. Just going to be given different triangles. Later on, you're going to be given a function value, and you're going to have to figure out which angle it is. So again, here are all of our tools that you're going to be using. Don't forget the short way to remember all of this. I didn't write it, and I just remembered that I didn't write it. Is SOHCAHTOA. So that's how I can derive all of these things and remember these three most importantly, but then their brothers go with them as well. Okay, you guys are going to have to get really good at memorizing this stuff and just use these proficiently throughout. So I'm just going to jump right in and start looking at examples. So for our first example, we're given cosine is 4 over 7. Well, what does that really mean? Well, then we have secant, if you really want to go from there. So flip it for secant. And if cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, I don't really know what the opposite side is, but I can draw a triangle to help me kind of figure it out. So if I have a triangle, wow, that was a triangle. That was cool. That was the first one of those I've done in a long time. So adjacent is 4, hypotenuse is 7. We can use Pythagorean theorem to find the other side, because then we would have 7 squared equals 4 squared plus whatever that other side is. Let's say x squared. Then we have 49 minus 16. 49 minus 16 is 33 equals x squared. So x is square root 33. So this side now is square root of 33. So if I want to find sine, don't forget we have SOHCAHTOA. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So if I have the opposite side, the opposite is this square root 33 over the hypotenuse is 7. So I have root 33 over 7. Cosecant is sine flipped, so 7 over square root 33. And to rationalize it, multiply by square root 3 on top and bottom, so we have 7 square root 33 over 33. Tangent, we have opposite over adjacent, so the opposite side again is square root 33. So root 33 over the adjacent is 4. Flip it for cotangent. And for cotangent, then you'll have 4 over root 33. And then when you rationalize, it'll be 4 square root 33 over 33. And there are the 5 other functions for cosine of 4 over 7. Next thing I want to talk about is called the reference angle. The reference angle is just talking about which angle we reference in the triangles when we're trying to figure out, say, sine of 300 degrees or cosine of 210 degrees or whatever it may be. Basically, all this is the angle that it makes with the x-axis. So if we are in our first quadrant, there is our reference angle, which is basically just our angle. Second quadrant, there's your reference angle. Third quadrant, your reference angle is in red. And the fourth quadrant, your reference angle is in green. So say, for instance, if we wanted to find the reference angle of 300 degrees. Well, I know 300 degrees is more than 270, but less than 360. So I know 360 is a complete circle. Here's 300 degrees. So if all this is the angle that it makes with the x-axis, so it's right in here, then it's just the difference between 360 and 300 degrees, which means our reference angle is just going to be 60 degrees. So we would look at 60-degree angle in our triangles. Again, for 210 degrees, a little bit different, but this one is bigger than 180, so it's somewhere in here, and it's less than 270. So I have 180, and I have 210. So the reference angle, again, is to the x-axis. So the difference between here is going to be 30 degrees, so our reference angle is just going to be 30 degrees. Here's an example of a problem that you'd actually have to use the reference angle in order to figure out all 6 trig functions. So if we know that theta is in 300 degrees, so that's down here in our fourth quadrant, so a STC. So we know only cosine is going to be positive, cosine and secant. So that means sine, cosecant, tangent, and cotangent will all be negative, so I went ahead and marked those. Also, if we know that we have 300 degrees, the angle that we're going to look at in our triangle is 60 degrees because that is the reference angle between 300 and 360. So now in your triangle, this is where we figure out the values. Wow, see, that's what my triangles usually look like. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, as if you guys are here to help me out. Wow. So square root 32. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so I have adjacent over hypotenuse, so 1 over 2, written in blue. Azul. Secant, got to flip it, so 2 over 1, so just 2. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so square root 3 over 2, so negative root 3 over 2. Flip it for cosecant, I'm going to go ahead and rationalize, so 2 square root 3 over 3. Tangent, so opposite over adjacent, so square root 3 over 1. so just negative square root 3, and cotangent after you rationalize will be negative square root 3 over 3. And there you go, there's all 6 trig functions for 300 degrees. Next type of problem that you see is going to be kind of like a puzzle, saying for what angle, when angle is less than 90 degrees, is this true? So we have A, B, C, D, and I just went ahead and listed all of your tools right in front of you. Okay, so if I want to find out what angle is cosine square root 2 over 2, I don't have a square root 2 and a 2 in a triangle, but I do have square root 2 and 1. So if I kind of unrationalize this and say it's 1 over square root 2, then I know cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so the adjacent side has to be 1 while the hypotenuse is square root 2. So for either of these angles, say I choose pi over 4, adjacent over hypotenuse is 1 over square root 2, so I know my angle here is pi over 4. And there I figured it out. So for sine theta is 1/2. I want to figure out which angle sine is 1/2. Well, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so I want my opposite side to be 1. I want my hypotenuse to be 2. So from this angle, it looks like I can have my opposite is 1 and my hypotenuse is 2. So I'm going to say my angle is pi over 6. Okay, moving on. We have tangent theta is 1. Well, that's not a fraction, but I know I have 1 over 1. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So if I look at my pi over 4 angle, opposite is 1, adjacent is 1. So there it is, pi over 4 again. And sine theta is 0. I don't have any zeros in my triangle, so I'm going to start looking at my axes. I know sine is the second one, so it looks like it's going to be right there, and that angle is 0 degrees or 0 pi, whatever you want to say. You're also going to start seeing problems like this, where you're given one side, we're given this side over here, we're trying to find how long the hypotenuse is. We don't have another side, so we can't use Pythagorean's theorem, but if I look at my SOHCAHTOA, dip your toe in water, make it healthy again, then I have the opposite side. So I know I might be able to use this one, or I might be able to use tangent, and I want to find the hypotenuse. Well, if I want to find the hypotenuse, sine is the only one that deals with both, so I can say sine of my angle, 60 degrees, is opposite over hypotenuse, so 18 over y. And then this sine of 60, I know is what? Square root 3 over 2, but if you don't know that, let's see. Yeah, square root 3 over 2. But if you don't know that, that's cool. So what we can do is solve for y, but all I really mean by the square root 3 over 2 is sine of 60 is some angle, just like natural log of 2 was some function value or something like that. So if we can multiply by y to get rid of that, then I have y sine 60, because it's funny, get it, y sine, never mind, I'll shut up. Okay, so then what I can do is divide by sine 60, since that is just some number, so that I have y equals 18 divided by sine 60. And then what you can do is you can go into your calculator and just punch in, punch in 18 divided by y sine 60, and it will give you the answer. The only thing is you're going to have to make sure that you are in degrees. Let's see, hide this. Oh, no, hide it all. Come on. Get out of there. So I have mode, and I'm going to make sure that I'm in degrees. So I'm going to move over, change that real quick, and you can quit out of there. And then you can just say 18, if I can get to the 1. Come on, be nice. 18 divided by sine 60, and that's going to be 20.78. So there we go, y is 20.78. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you guys in class soon.
Bye-bye now!